Hello, I'm Abi Hatter, and today I'm going to talk to you about how we work with you at TTC and your multilingual documentation. The agenda, there will be a short team introduction, a short intro to TTC, our processes, our production steps, the tools we use, the file formats we can handle, and the automations we have. So about TTC's Managing Director, Levent Yıldızgören. He's been in the industry now for 28 years. He's a Prince 2 qualified project manager. He's a mentor, speaker, and charity fundraiser. He's a visiting lecturer at the University of Essex and a podcast host, Conquer New Markets by Breaking Language Barriers. You should check this out. Your account directors, Denise Robinson and Abi Hatter, that's myself. We've got over 20 years language industry experience. We're both Prince 2 qualified project managers. We particularly are experienced in the translation of project managers. And Denise is a desktop publishing expert. TTC is an accredited company of the Association of Translation Companies, the ATC, and the Institute of Translation and Interpreting, the ITI. It's really important that any translation provider you use is a member of one or both of these companies. TTC registered for European Quality Standard, DIN EN 15038. So let's start from the beginning. The information we would like to receive from our clients when they send us a quotation. The target country, this is really important because where exactly are you going to market this text to? For instance, if you require a translation into French, this could be French for France, Canadian French, French for Belgium. So there are many different options, so it's really important to know this information. The target audience. Who are you trying to target? Are you targeting students, for instance? Are you targeting people who are specialists already in the industry, such as engineers? This will really affect the tone of the language that we use. The purpose of the translation. Is your translation going to be used internally within your business? Is your translation going to be printed 1,000 copies and distributed to all your customers? Is it going to be used on a billboard? The more information we have on the purpose of the translation, the better the quality will be. Any reference material or previously approved translations. This can be invaluable for the translators. If you have approved translations already, if you share those with us, we can ensure that we use the same terminology. And of course, any reference material, such as any pictures, any visual references, they'll be invaluable. And what will the final formats be? We can of course do translations in Word format, we use InDesign, we use AutoCAD, we use many different file formats, which I'll actually talk about a bit later. But so what is the final format going to be? How can we assist you in making sure that it's an easy flow from the English into the target language? And what is your deadline for implementation? We always try to accommodate any deadline that customer has. There's a reason for that deadline, so we do our best to meet that. Of course, we'll speak about this at the quote stage and it'll all be agreed. And if you have a deadline of 10,000 words in one day and it can't be moved, we'll get a team together. So we'll get a team together rather than just one translator working on that, and ensure that we use the right tools in order to get the deadline on time. And do you have any budgetary restrictions? Of course, this is important for you. And if you can tell us this, then we can make sure that we do everything we can to meet that budget. Maybe where budget is tight, maybe not all the text will need translation, for instance. So we can help you with this. So that information is invaluable. The TTC Translate process. This is one of the most important documents. I won't go through it in every single detail, but just basics. The first one is understanding your requirement. This is what I just spoke about that were required during the quote process. Your goals, your deadline, your budget. If you can tell us as much information as possible at the start, then we will really be able to deliver the best solution for you. And this moves on to number 2. We present our solution to you. We inform you exact stages that we will be undertaking and how we'll go about doing those. The Number 3, solution implementation. This is where we actually start the process. We would create briefs for our project team, and they'll go through each stage with the translator, the reviewers, the typesetters, the whole team involved in the process, and ensure that it's completed. Number 4, the completion stage. This will be when we deliver the files to you, making sure you safely receive them, and we really want to just exceed your expectations here. Number 5, getting your feedback. This is really important for us to get feedback from you. How did we perform? But also feedback on the translation. You can often send it on to your in-house reviewers, and they may have feedback about certain terms that they would prefer us to use. And this will mean that we can, going forward, we can update our term basis here and ensure that they're used for future projects. So this stage can be invaluable. Number 6, project closing. When we know that everyone's happy and everyone has everything they have, and you can move on with your next stages and what you want to do with the translation, we can close off the projects. All your files are stored safely and securely, and we'll update any glossaries and do any and we'll do the closing of the project. Translation tool. We use various different tools for translation. Our main one we do use is MemSource. A translation tool will mean a human translator will be doing the translation, but it's a software running in the background. So MemSource will ensure consistency, reduce costs, and terminology management. It ensures consistency because when we start your translation, we will start building up a translation memory bank for you. So we'll ensure that the text is then consistent throughout, and then when we move on to another document for you, the same terminology will be used. Again, this will of course reduce costs. Well, if we've already translated something for you, if there's sentences which are repeated throughout your documentation, you'll only have to pay for them once. So if we get a second document, we'll analyse it using MemSource, and we'll only charge you for the new words for translation. And terminology management, as mentioned just now, it will ensure consistency. We will ensure we have any approved terms, any preferred terms. They will all be stored in a term base for you. So we make sure we use these terms in all of your translations. So technical authoring tool. We use this tool, Paligo, which is an online technical authoring and collaboration system. This is where we work alongside technical authors, and they create their own documentation within Paligo, and rather than having to extract out the text and send it on to a translation company, and then we have to translate them and then we send them back, we actually connect our translation management system to Paligo. So it's a click of a button to say, I'm ready for this to be translated. We translate the document. It can be reviewed in there by the editor. It's all a system, all in one system basically, rather than file sharing, and it saves a lot of file management time. The tools we use, as mentioned, there's MemSource just a moment ago, and the other translation tools are MemoQ, SDL, Trados Studio. We also use XRF, which is our project management system, Paligo, as I just mentioned, and Adobe InDesign. These are just some of the few tools we do use. The file types we can work with, it is maybe a common misconception that we just use Word, and we do word translations in Word. We actually use multiple different file formats, as you can see here, and these all can be used within our translation management system as well, such as IDML files, XML files, XLIF files. There's a whole range here that we can use. Your client portal. This is XDRF, where we will book in all of your projects. We will assign the translators in here. We will have the costings in here. So you can log in at any time and just see what projects you've done with us already. If you're unsure if something's been translated already, you can easily see it from the system. You can see if there's any overdue invoices. You can see who's managing your projects. And that's an optional thing if you want to, but we do find that our clients find that a good asset. Your dedicated translation request portal. This portal can be used for really urgent projects, something simple. If it's 9 o'clock at night and you realise you needed to place a translation, obviously we won't still be in the office, but you can upload your file here. It will tell you the cost straight away. We would have already agreed costs with you, and you can place a translation. So your translation will automatically go to your approved translators, and they will start the translation work straight away. In this system, we will still use the translation management system. So we will still use all your translation memories. We will use your approved translators. It's just a much quicker way of placing a simple translation task with us. Smart connectors. We have a smart connectors for multiple different CMS sites. Main one probably is Contigo. Here you can see that rather than a company having to extract all their text out of their CMS system, they can use our connector, so it goes straight to our translation management system, and we can start the translations again at just a few clicks of a button, and then the text will go straight back into their CMS system. There's lots more involved in it than that, and what it can do and how it can help, but that's just a brief overview. So the services we do provide much more than just translation. There's video subtitling, multilingual SEO, multilingual DTP, keyword research, website localization, brand name checking, and of course many, many more. Confidentiality. This is of course so important for us and for you. All of our translators have signed our NDAs. We regularly monitor their details and their progress and get updates from them. And we are more than happy to sign an NDA with you. Anything in specific you may require us to sign, specific to a certain client, that is absolutely fine. We can get our translators to sign something particularly for your client too. And we only use suitable translators for any critical projects that you may have and request. So confidentiality, we realise, is the utmost importance to everyone. Your guarantees with us. We offer the best price guaranteed, which is our quote match service. So if you do get a quotation from another company and we find that it's cheaper than our quotation, we offer a service to say that if you send that quote to us, we'll take a look at it, and if we can, we aim to beat the quote by up to 5%. We always try to do this where we can. We believe that there's much more to us than a price. We base ourselves on the service that we can offer and the solutions we can provide to our client. But of course, we know that price is important to our customers. So where we can, we really do try to match that. And then the 100% satisfaction guaranteed. As I said previously, we love to get feedback from you as well. But if you're ever unhappy with anything, just get in contact with us. So we offer a 30-day translation service guarantee. So within 30 days of your job being delivered, if you just get in contact with us, tell us if there was any problems, tell us what they were, and we'll do our utmost to rectify them, so you're fully satisfied with what we have delivered. Okay, well, thank you for listening. Here's just our contact details here. It shows our Twitter, our LinkedIn, our YouTube and our Facebook page. If you'd like to connect with us on those, please do get in contact. Thank you for listening.